Allison, can you say something so we can check the volume?
I can hear you all.
Okay, can y'all hear her as well? Everybody ready?
Good evening and welcome to our Tuesday, June the 24th regular board meeting. We appreciate those of you that can join us in person, and we appreciate those of you that can join us virtually. We're happy to be here to conduct the business of the board for this evening. At this time, I would like to invite you to stand for the invocation, followed by the pledge. Let us pray. To Heavenly Father, we're humbled to be your servants tonight and conduct the business necessary for the children of Colleton County. Father, we thank you for the reminder in Psalm 33:12, blessed is the nation whose God is the Lord. We thank you, Father, that we can call you the Lord over Colleton County Schools, our King of Kings. And now we humbly bow and pray as you taught your disciples to pray. Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread. Forgive us of our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory forever. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. You may be seated. At this time, I'll ask Trustee Nixon if he would please share with us our district mission statement.
The Colleton County School District will prepare every student to graduate with a 21st century education to be globally competitive for their chosen college and/or career path.
Thank you. Board members, as we do every meeting, let's be reminded of our civility pledge that our state association asks that we recite. Please join with me. I pledge to build a stronger and more effective school board by advocating for civil engagement, respecting others and their viewpoints, and finding solutions for the betterment of my school district. Thank you. Before you, board members, and emailed to you, thank you, Ms. Hyman, we have an agenda that has been prepared by the officers and administration. So if you'll look over the agenda that's been given to you, I'll be ready to entertain a motion that we approve the agenda.
Madam Chair, I make a motion that we approve the agenda for tonight.
I second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion about the agenda? Hearing none, all those in favor, please show your right hand. Unanimous. Tonight, board members, as I give the chairman's report, I would like for you to notice the minutes that were given to us. Thank you, Ms. Hyman, for May 20th, May 27th, May 29th, June 10th. I'll entertain a motion for those minutes that have been approved.
Madam Chair, I make a motion that we approve the minutes as presented for May 20th, 27th, 29th, and June 10th.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Any discussion or correction to any of those minutes that were sent to us electronically to approve? Hearing none, all those in favor, show your right hand. Unanimous. Thank you. Board members, please be reminded of the dates for the annual school law conference that is held in Charleston. The dates are August 23rd through 24th. We have 2 board members registered to attend. Thank you, Trustee Nixon and Trustee Cunningham. I know you will gain a lot of information to bring back to us. If any other board member would like to attend, you can still let Ms. Hyman know, but the accommodations will not be at the location. So please be mindful if you'd like to attend. Our July board meetings, let me remind you, because this meeting was delayed for our budget purposes as well as for our staff attending annual conference for our state. So our board meetings that are regularly scheduled and approved are July 8th, coming up really quickly, and July 15th. So if it's the pleasure of the board, I would entertain a motion that we consolidate our meetings to one meeting in July, which would be the July 15th meeting at 6 p.m. Is there a motion for that action?
Madam Chair, I make a motion that we consolidate our meetings to July 15th for the month of July only.
I second.
There's a motion and a second. Any discussion about combining our meetings in July so that there's one meeting?
Madam Chair, just to state that if there's any necessary action prior to that, obviously, Ms. Williams, you would let us know, and we'd schedule something if necessary.
Thank you. Yes, we did make sure Ms. Williams was aware that we might consider action. So yes, please let us know if you need action from the board prior to July 15th. Any other discussion?
Yes, Madam Chair. I will be at a convention on the 15th, but I will call in with the permission of the board to
Thank you.
be on in the meeting.
Thank you. Okay, any other discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor of consolidating our meetings in July so that we only have one meeting and it doesn't rush the staff to be ready for a meeting so quickly, we'll meet on July 15th at our regular scheduled meeting if the board so pleases for that to happen. So I'll take a show of hands for that to happen. If you're in favor of that, please show your right hand. Unanimous. Thank you. Moving along on our agenda, we're always excited about the recognition that Superintendent Williams brings us because one of our core values is that every member of Team Colleton works for kids and makes important contributions towards becoming a world-class school system. So Superintendent Williams, do we have any recognition tonight?
No recognitions tonight.
Okay. I would like to thank all of those that worked hard in the heat to get our middle school ready for a big event that our community hosted last Saturday evening. So I know they're not all here to be formally recognized, but I rode by a couple of times and know they worked really hard, buildings and ground. I'm sure there were others as well, but to get our middle school ready for the NAACP gala that was held on Saturday evening. So thanks to them. I know it was a very hot week last week to get all of that ready. Anything else, board members, that you've noticed that you'd like to recognize? Thank you. At this time, we'll ask for any public input. Thank you. Moving along, any old business? Hearing none, we're at item 6, any new business? Hearing none, we'll go to item number 7. Board members, if you take a look in your folder, and we received an email, there are some policies that need our attention for first reading, specifically the revision of policy JICJ, electronic use of communication devices in school, possession and use. So if you take a look at that, Ms. Williams, or Policy Committee, do you want to let board members know?
Yes, definitely. This particular policy has one revision. If you look, the revision is in red, and basically the revision just says that we will utilize secure district-provided approved pouches or boxes for cell phone devices, and the superintendent will be authorized to develop an administrative rule to govern the procedures that will be utilized at the schools. We have developed the procedures, and I have sent that information to our policy committee, and I'm sure that we will have more discussion on the administrative rule at a later time.
Okay.
Madam Chair, if I may, I just want to identify that Allison Hanna, our attorney, is also on the line listening.
Thank you.
If she has
Yes.
something she wants to add.
Yes, we have a full board for the record, and thank you, Ms. Hannah, for joining us.
Yes, and all I would say is this is a very, very minor revision to the policy, and where the change is going to be, which comes with the new procedures with these bags and boxes, will be in the administrative rule that will be presented. But this is a very minor change to the actual policy itself.
Do we need action, or this is just information for the board?
This would be first reading for a policy change.
Okay.
And then the second reading to actually effectuate the change would be at your July 14th or 15th meeting, whatever that date was.
Okay. All right, so hearing what we need to take a look at, board members, and I know this was emailed to us, but we're also given a hard copy here so you can review it. I'll entertain a motion that we will accept the first reading of this policy with the information noted in red for the minor change, allowing the superintendent to develop an administrative rule to go along with the policy for monitoring and storing devices. Is there a motion on the floor?
Madam Chair, I make a motion that we approve the revisions for first reading of policy JICJ as presented.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Any discussion?
I just want to make note that this is, board, that parents have already received information regarding the special pouches that are going to be provided by the district in the incoming school year. So parents are already aware a little bit of this change. This is different, and the reason that this change is made is to make specific the procedures for use of this new pouch. I just want to make sure that as we create the administrative rule for how those procedures will be handled, specifically at probably more likely secondary schools, that students, that there's something that is specified to say that, students can also just leave their cell phones at home. I mean, if you obviously, if you have it on you, it has to be in the pouch. But just consideration, Ms. Williams, if there can be that, if you don't need a pouch, you may not be issued one, so that a student that is not with a cell phone have a pouch unnecessarily. I hope that makes sense.
Yes, it does. Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Whitkin. It does.
Additionally, I wanted to mention, too, that with the fact that we're going to rely on the students to bring their pouch with them each day, I noticed there were some provisions for those who forgot their pouch. Just make sure that parents are clear that if their child doesn't bring their own pouch, then they will have their phone put into some pouch when they get to school. So they don't think they're just going to be able to carry it around just because I forgot my pouch.
Most definitely.
That'll be the easy way.
Any other discussion? Hearing none, we'll have a show of hands. We did have a motion and a second. We'll have a show of hands for all of those in favor of the first reading of policy JICJ by showing your right hand for the first reading. Unanimous. Thank you, Ms. Williams. We'll look forward to the second reading in July. Moving along, there are no policies that need second reading. Is that correct? Policy Committee and Administration?
No. Yeah, nothing for the policy committee.
Okay, so if we need to add any for July, let us know, but it looks like we just would roll that one policy to second reading. Moving to item number 9, the superintendent's report. Superintendent Williams, we are looking forward to your report because one of our core values, effective leadership, supports learning and optimal performance for all students. So thank you for updating the board and the community.
Okay, here we go. All right. I want to say thank you, Chair Strobel, and I want to say good afternoon to our board members and also to the public and our administrators and school leaders that are here with us tonight. Thank you so much for being with us. My board update tonight, I have just a few updates for you. First, I want to share some information with you concerning the recent professional development that several of our staff, including myself, participated in last week. We attended the I3 SCASA Administrative Conference, and the theme of that conference was future-focused leadership. And there were many, many sessions that surrounded this theme. During the conference, I'm happy to announce that we had several administrators who were recognized for their participation in various programs that the State Department hosts or that they participated in. So tonight, I want to just call those names, and we will recognize those persons at a later board meeting in person. But I just wanted to let you know that we had several staff members. Dr. Durden, who is our director of the Office of Exceptional Learning, he received his Silver Seal certification, and SEAL stands for the Center for Executive Education Leadership. And basically, we have classes and we learn together with different colleagues from around the state in our particular fields of administration. So Dr. Durden earned his silver. Ms. Tiffany McNeely earned her gold seal certification. Ms. Keisha Bryan earned her gold certification. Ms. Janice Hedden earned her gold certification. Mr. Wesley McNeely earned his platinum, and then yours truly, Ms. Williams, I received my platinum as well in superintendency through the SEAL process. We also had a SCASA champion that was recognized as well, and that SCASA champion was Ms. Mary Jo Fox. And we're just so delighted and happy that we had so many of Colleton represented at the conference and were recognized for their achievements. We also had a special treat. We had a keynote speaker, and our keynote speaker for the conference was Grant Hill, who is a former NBA basketball player. And he really did a great job. And I know Ms. Allen's going to come up in just a few minutes, and she's going to share some of the highlights from Grant Hill's presentation. We also had the Honorable Superintendent Ellen Weaver. She was present at the conference as well. She spoke with the staff, and she also spoke with superintendents because there was also a post-conference after the conference for superintendents, and we enjoyed hearing from our state superintendent as well. Also, Ms. Angel Ferguson, who is the principal at Bells Elementary School, she did a presentation, and her presentation was called Bringing the Fun, Innovative Ideas. Innovative ideas for improving school culture and student achievement, and she did that session on Monday. I was just very thankful for the participation, for the preparation, and everything that went into attending this conference this summer. I have asked Mrs. Allen, and also I've asked Ms. Jessica Learson to come up and share some information with you that they gleaned from the conference that they can use in the upcoming school year for their schools or for their department. So I'm going to call Ms. Allen to come up first from Cottageville Elementary School to share with you at this time.
Ms. Williams, while she's coming up, I just wanted to say I heard from another district what a great presentation that Ms. Parker did, that they attended her session.
Ms. Ferguson.
Did I say wrong one? Ms. Ferguson. I'm going to always call her the wrong name, Mr. Murdoch.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean that.
Good evening.
Good evening.
First, I want to say thank you to Superintendent Williams and the board for allowing us to attend I3 last week. I always find something that we can bring back, and it's also a time of reflection of what you have in practice and seeing what those people are presenting. You actually have it in your building and in your district, and there are always just those little things that make the difference that you find in those little key pieces that come on. So. It's game on. We're changing the game one level at a time at Cottageville Elementary, and this is just our reflection. One of the things that Grant Hill spoke about was it's not about showing up, it's about how you show up. It's about how you show up. And that was one of the things that really resonated with me. Anybody can go to work Anybody can just walk through the door, but how are you walking through the door? What are you doing when you walk through the door? And are you giving your best when you walk through the door every day? So that was one of the things that was a highlight for me. The other one was, it says, be present because they appreciate your presence. Lead by example, not by words. Many people see, they look at what you do. They're following what you do. They're following the tone of your voice. They're following your body language. They know if you're paying attention to them. They know if you're just standing there and your mind is somewhere else. But they want you to understand, being present is okay, but your presence is what they really want at that point in time. And also to be a connector. Be someone who's connecting everything in the building. So the presentation that I shared, that I walked into, it was called Rome Wasn't Built in a Day, Neither is District Transformation, Timing is Everything. That session spoke about shared vision and shared leadership. With shared vision, those things that spoke to me was basically being inspiring individuals to work collaboratively toward common goals. It's more than a slogan, it is a guiding compass that aligns efforts, clarifies aspirations, and motivates teams to contribute to broader objectives. Basically, fostering collaboration within the building, and we do that. Making it a shared responsibility and a shared point of purpose. Better yet, do they know what your why is? Do you know what your why is? And are you functioning every day to make sure that why is at the forefront? And with shared leadership, it's inspiring. It's distributed leadership, has among various stakeholders, including teachers, staff, and even students, and I can go as far as to say even parents, and even our school board. Shared leadership is not just the principal, it is everybody understanding what the mission and vision is, working toward it at that common goal together, knowing what it is that we need to do, and making sure that we capitalize on the strengths of everyone on our team. So food for thought, one of the things that was said in that presentation was, success is a journey, not a destination. The doing is often more important than the outcome. So then it took me to reflect about what are we doing at Cottage Hill Elementary? What were some of the things that they shared? The next slide shows you, it was McCormick School District. And what I did, I put together what McCormick, some of those high, heavy things we talked about. And I put Cottage Hill Elementary next to it. As you can see, it's the same thing. Most of them were things that we're already doing. It's just tweaking little things. So one of the things that I can take back from a tips, tricks, and strategies point of view is the vertical team planning. Meaning kindergarten planning with first grade planning with second grade, K1 and 2 also planning together. And once we get into the school year this year, making sure and already having on the calendar, okay, this is what they should know by now. Do they know? And what are some things that kids from kindergarten to first grade, and first graders realize that they don't have that grasp. So what do we need to do? So that's one of the things that I'm taking back, and we're taking back. The other one is that they build accountability teams, and that included everyone within the school district. Looking at the data, knowing the data, understanding the data, and then it's the trackers. We've been tracking them since Ms. McDonald has given us trackers. She's worked with us, Irene has worked with us, but they have also another tracker that basically is what we have, but it drills it down even more with the data. And they shared that with us in that session, and that's something that my leadership team, we're working on that now. So just a few changes in what we're doing. The other thing was the transparency with students and parents with goal setting. We goal set with our kids from day one. They have goal setting and data conversations and data chats all through the year. But the big piece of it is not just on parent conference time. So we're going to be challenged this year. So once a month, getting our parents in the building, once a month, making sure our students can speak and share their data with their parents. That they understand where they are, where they need to go, the parents understand it, and if we're all working together, then we're going to need to go at that child piece. And that's it. The other one is the student-led conferences and portfolios that goes along with, we did it before, we did not do it last year, but it's going to be a more student focus with their data and understanding. From kindergarten and really pre-K on up. And then the culture must be right. And what I mean by that is, if they haven't bought in, the teachers haven't bought in, the students and the parents haven't bought in, you're not going to be successful. You're going to make little small gains, but you're not going to get what you need. And so we are going to make sure that our culture is right at Cottage Hill. And the final one is inclusion. We were unable to really begin and get into inclusion had to do it because we had in-person teachers. However, we're now excited because we have those in-person teachers and we can do it. And so as I wrap it up, one of the last things they shared with us was growth and student achievement. Meaning you had to have administrative support, we had to trust and collaborate with each other, leadership team across the district everywhere, being transparent, embrace where you are, be transparent with everyone. You know what the vision is, share it, and make sure that it's shared by all. Make sure that your culture is a shared ownership. Everybody is talking in. And then the communication, be intentional and practice it, and recite all the time with communication. And accountability, understanding that accountability is a very big part, a very large part. And to bring this to a close, Grant Hill, one of the final things that he said was to commit to showing up. And our challenge is committed to showing up. And not just showing up, but making sure we're showing up in the proper way. The last quote for food for thought: perfection is not attainable, but if we chase perfection, we will catch excellence. And that is a quote by Vince Lombardi. And the final thing that I do want to say is that we also spoke and found some things out about our small group, the way we were doing small groups and how we're shifting and just doing it just a little bit. We'll do it a little bit different. Everything is being tweaked. It's about looking at what you have, seeing what they're sharing. Is it useful? Is it something that you're doing? Or did that puzzle piece, it presents you a puzzle piece that you realize it is? And that is what they provide us the opportunity for. So that is everything that I gained from that session.
Thank you, Ms. Allen. That was a beautiful presentation, and it does help you to see other districts and complement the things that we know we're doing that are working.
Yes, I want to thank you as well, Ms. Allen, for doing a wonderful job. I'm going to call Ms. Learson up at this time.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen of the board. My name is Dr. Jessica Learson, and I am the coordinator of our Exceptional Learning Department. For many of you, this is the first time that I am meeting you. For some of you, not so much. But I just want to say, just as an offside, I kind of feel like I have some huge shoes to fill after all of that. You can tell why she's great at what she does. As you're going to see, you can tell that my experience is not in elementary at all. So I'm a little bit more short and sweet, but that doesn't mean that I did not glean as much information. All right. So the opportunity to attend this conference, especially somebody that is very much on the starting end of her administrative experience path, this was an incredible opportunity for me. The opportunity to network, the opportunity to see what other very capable, highly capacitous districts are doing, and the ability to side by side compare what Colleton County is doing and then what we have the opportunity for growth for was an amazing chance for me. All right. Oftentimes in special education, we get put into our little silo and it's like, oh, that's just special ed. We're just going to deal with our special ed thing. No, it's awesome to take a step out of that and to be able to see what other areas are out there and how everything is commingled, which leads me into the future of learning. This Innovative Ideas Institute was all about the future of learning, all about the fact that no matter who we are, no matter which school district we are, no matter which students we work with, it's not enough to say, those are your kids and those are my kids. It's not enough to say that anymore, all right? Everything is our kids. Everybody, every single kid who comes through these doors, no matter who they are, what their background is, what their label is, what color their skin is, what their creed is, they are all our kids, all right? That's incredible coming from a teacher that, you know what, I don't get to experience general education a whole lot. My experience has been all in special ed, but moving forward, in order for our kids to be college and career ready, we have to personalize learning outcomes to enhance our student performance and achievement. All right, we have this word called inclusion. Well, let me tell you, inclusion's kind of Everybody's kind of fearful of that word. Inclusion is just another word for personalization, all right? If we personalize learning for every single kid, no matter who they are, no matter what they need, if they're gen ed or special ed, if we personalize to what they need at that moment in time, all of our kids are going to benefit. We will see gains. That's what I got from this. So I went to a presentation from the South Carolina Department of Education in Florence, District 1, where they said traditional methods of instruction are no longer appropriate. All right? We have to, and they're no longer feasible to maximize student learning and promote engagement. With our kids coming out with the invention of AI, with the invention and the rapid pace of computer instruction and computer-based tactics, we have to be able to monitor and adjust. We have to be able to pivot. We have to be able to bring that into our classrooms. All right? If we want our kids to be able to be successful without us, we have to teach to the needs of what our employers and what our colleges are going to do. All means all. That literally is as simple as it gets. Every student, regardless of designation, should be provided with access to high-quality instructional materials aligned to grade-level standards. It's not enough for your students who are self-contained to be put into a class where they color rainbows all day. We can't do that. Our kids, the students who are in those classes still are required to take state testing. I don't know if you knew that. They still have to take SC Ready. Every single student, even those who take alternative testing, have to have exposure to high-quality instructional materials that are aligned. Maybe not at the same level, but they are aligned to grade-level standards. That is how we close that learning gap. That is how we make Colleton a Class 1 district. Right? So to do that, we have to limit our pull-out supports for students, focusing on differentiated and personalized learning within the classroom environment. So I found out that we focus on 4 areas. Florence 1, who was extremely successful in this, they focused on academics, they focused on behavior, they focused on social emotional, and they focused on transition and post-secondary skills for all students, K-12. Transition, they began with the end in mind. They started with their pre-K babies, doing those stop boards, doing those push boards, what do you want to be when you grow up? And they began with the end in mind. They don't have babies. They don't begin with the babies going not having a diploma. Now, every single kid begins with the idea that every single kid is going to graduate with a diploma. That is how we have success. That is how we break generational barriers. So, I think this aligns very well with what Ms. Allen was talking about transformational leadership and change, because Colleton County already has so many of these footholds already established that the next step is to now bring these students together so that they can collaborate and learn from each other. All right, so that is where our district is going, and as a new person, as a new administrator-ish, as a new person that is thankfully being able to participate in this change, I'm excited to see where we go with that. I really am. I'm excited to see us breaking down those barriers, of breaking down the special ed versus gen ed classrooms. And I'm thankful that I got the opportunity for this district to attend and to be there with other people and to benefit from their experience. So I'll quit yapping my ear off now. But thank you guys very, very much for the opportunity to present.
Testing, testing. I'm not sure where the hum is coming from. All right. So I want to thank Ms. Allen again, and I want to thank Ms. Larison. Both of you did a marvelous, outstanding job. Thank you so very much. Board members, this is something that I am going to implement more of in the upcoming year so that you can hear firsthand from the practitioners when they attend these professional development opportunities, so that you can hear what they're learning and what they're bringing back to their schools.
Madam Chair, if I may ask, just to say to Ms. Williams, how grateful I am to hear from our educators and appreciate your passion, especially at the end of June when you're in between school years, and we know it'll be an exciting year because your passion will carry over to our students. So thank you for all that you do, and we look forward to hearing how what you learned is implemented and passed on to other staff members and carried on. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Whitkin. All right, so lastly, concerning the I-3 conference, I just wanted to let the board know that Colleton County School District was also recognized for having 20% or more, so we did have more, of our third graders meeting standard on the SC Ready assessments in ELA and math. So we were recognized in the general session in front of everyone that was there attending the session. So that was great as well. Okay, on the next slide, I just wanted to talk a little bit about our professional development opportunities in the summer. I know at the last board meeting, Dr. Jenkins shared information with I think she gave you a handout as well. I know she shared a handout with you as well. With information on it. I think it was this particular handout that she gave you. But I know that this particular handout, this particular professional development matrix is very heavy in math. But I wanted to let you know that math is one of the district's focus areas because our scores are a little lower in math than they are in ELA. So this is a big focus for us. In addition to that, the state has adopted new math standards. So we want to make sure that teachers in all grade levels are being provided with the training and the support that they need to implement the new standards. However, the summer PD also includes summer curriculum planning as well for our general ed and our special education teachers, as well as textbook training and other training that it's occurring during the summer months. On July 30th, we will have a district-wide professional development day, and our curriculum and instruction team is working feverishly to make sure that they're providing extensive PD for our teachers. There are topics that I've listed there that they have already planned for, and some of those topics include accommodating ML learners, also classroom management, differentiating instruction, building strong homeschool connections, cultivating school climate, school safety, and also there will be sessions on ELA, math, science, social studies, related arts, and special education as well. Additionally, our Office of Exceptional Learning.
Ms. Williams, if you'll pause a minute, I'm not sure if our listeners, that are virtual are able to hear. So let's get the mics so they can hear.
All right, hopefully this works now.
Thank you.
Okay. All right. Additionally, the Office of Exceptional Learning is providing professional development for our special education teachers the week of July 28th as well. I also wanted to provide some information to you tonight concerning a professional development opportunity that our administrators and district level staff will be attending July 21st through the 23rd, 2025. And this is a part of the ATSI district improvement plans. As you recall, we write school improvement plans, and we also must make sure that we are including everyone in those plans, including all students. As I think Ms. Learson stated, we have to make sure that all means all. So we are attending the All Means All conference, and this conference will help us streamline our PLC process. So all of our teachers participate in professional learning communities. This conference will help us to make sure that our teachers can build their lesson plans during PLCs, and this will lessen the load and the burden of our teachers so that they will not have to take material home. They can do their planning right during school during those PLCs. We are implementing PLCs now. However, I think it was years back that everyone went to a PLC conference and we learned how to implement the 4 big questions. And those 4 big questions are, what is it we want our students to learn? How will they know if they have learned it? And what will we do if they don't learn it? What will we do if they already know it? So based on our struggles with our disabled population, this conference will provide strategies to increase achievement for all students and help to close that achievement gap to include all of our students, our Tier 1 students, our Tier 2 students, and our Tier 3 students. I also wanted to let you know that our State Department liaison, Mrs. Monique Smalls, as well as our state's school improvement manager, worked very extensively with our curriculum and instruction department to develop the plans and to ensure that this training was allowable and that it was approved by the state. So we are looking forward to going to this conference. While we're there, our school principals will have district level support as their thought partners in order to plan out their PLCs and how they will implement TLCs in the upcoming school year. Okay. Are there any questions about the professional development or the All Means All training in July?
Superintendent Williams, I do have a concern about the All Means All conference in July. How many employees are going to that conference?
I think, is it about 15, 20? I think it's about 15 or 20, Mr. Stuyvesant, but I can get the exact number.
Okay, 15 to 20 employees going to Oklahoma.
Yes, sir.
For a conference, which I'm sure is at least $1,000 a pop. I have strongly expressed my concern about out-of-state travel to this board numerous times in the past. Our district is in a budget crunch, and we are sending employees to California and Oklahoma and all over these other states to conferences, and yet we're having to cut positions in this district to make ends meet. And I can't imagine that we can afford to send 15 to 20 employees to Oklahoma to a conference when we could potentially send 2 employees and they could bring back that same information and pass it on to everyone else. I think it's very foolish on our part, and I think this board needs to consider doing something about out-of-state travel.
Can I just kind of give you a little bit more information so you can understand the reasoning behind the conference? We have specific funds that are for specific reasons. We have funds through our federal programs, and our director is not here tonight, but that is dedicated solely to professional development. Solely to that. This particular conference, as I stated when I was doing the presentation, is a part of our ATSI plans, which ATSI means that we have a significant amount of disabled students who are not meeting standard. So one of the best ways in order to make sure that you're implementing PLCs and different things with fidelity is to make sure that you send a whole team. So our leaders are the first persons that are going to this particular conference. And I want you to know that this conference is not being paid for with general fund money. It is not general fund money. It is ATSI money that's federal money that's designated for this specific purpose. And it is written in our plans, and it has been approved by the state for our leaders to go. When our leaders go to the conference, and they have an opportunity to collaborate with our district leaders as well, our school principals have that opportunity. They have a chance to plan, and then they come and they bring that information back, and they provide professional development for our staff so that all of the different initiatives that we are implementing is being shared across our schools, and everybody is in the know. But we must start with our leaders first, because our leaders are very important, our principals of our schools, and I understand your concern, but I just want to let you know that since I've been in this position as superintendent, this is the first out-of-state travel with all of our principals and our district leaders that we have gone to, and coming up will be my 3rd year in the district. So I don't want it to be said that this is something that, you know, we do all the time, we're always going out of state, but there were specific conferences that Solution Tree offers, and all of their conferences are held in different places around the country, and we had to choose the one that pretty much fit our schedule and fit our needs as well.
Thank you, Ms. Williams, for giving us more highlight after the first introduction to that at our other meeting where it was introduced. So thank you for highlighting that. And are there other districts, maybe similar to ours, that are using this with success?
I'm sure there are. I cannot call the districts by name, but I do know that there are a plethora of districts that utilize the Solution Tree PLC implementation model. And what's different about this particular conference is we will be learning strategies for how we can close that achievement gap between our general ed students and our special ed population.
If I may too, just also acknowledge, from my understanding of our report card status, that has been identified as an area of a specific need.
It is.
By report card. So
yes.
The addressing of these needs seem rather specific to what our state is telling us that we need to improve upon. So thank you for the explanation. I understand, especially right now as we are crunching numbers and looking at all the ways that we can improve. This board has had a broad overview, and so that specific explanation of those funds, where they came from, what they're used for, was helpful. Thank you.
Thank you. Any additional questions? Okay. Last, I would like to welcome our new Buildings and Grounds Director, Mr. Justin Simpson, and if you would please stand for us, please. He was with us last night at our capital projects meeting, and I know he met the board at that time, but I just want to publicly let him know that we are very thankful to have him as a part of the Colleton County School District team, and we're looking forward to working with you and great things happening in our Buildings and Grounds Department. Thank you. And Chair Strobel, that ends my report.
Thank you, Ms. Williams. I do think there's one thing you need action on, Ms. Williams, for the overnight field trip. I think it's the volleyball team that we got in our packet. So if you want to present that, board members, it was in our packet to review. And since it's overnight, even though the parents, it looks like, are transporting them there and back to the Colleton State Park, if I'm correct, it was asked, of us, as it should be by policy, to be approved since they'll be staying overnight.
Yes. I would like to ask board for your approval of trip number 4161. The dates of the trip are August 8th through the 10th. It is our JV volleyball overnight team bonding. The location will be Colleton State Park. The trip sponsor is Coach Dustin Owsley. The number of students is 14, and the number of adults is 2. Board members, you have the report to review from the
field trip request that was given to Ms. Williams. She's making a recommendation that this be approved. I'll entertain a motion.
I move that we approve this trip with the question later on.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Any discussion about the field trip?
Yes, Madam Chair. Now, are the students going to be staying in cabins? Do they have cabins there, or are they tents? Or because the Colleton State Park, I remember having a family reunion there once, and I don't remember any cottages or places to lodge.
I can find that information out for you, Mr. Nixon.
They do have cabins
They
there.
do? Okay, see, I'm not a sleep on the ground kind of person. That's why I was asking for the children.
And also, I would assume that this is our JV girls volleyball team, that there's female overnight chaperones. Only one is identified as the coach, and so assume that is well taken care of as an overnight. Ms. Williams?
I'm sorry.
This is for the JV volleyball team, and the coach is male, so there are 2 identified adults, and assuming one of those is female.
Yes.
Thank you.
Any other discussion before we take the vote? Do we want Ms. Williams to find out for sure? We can table this and vote once she finds out the accommodations that Ms.
No,
Williams
actually,
asked about.
I don't have a problem with that. He said there are cabins, I'm good.
And I'm good that there's females.
Okay. So, any other questions? All hearts clear? I'll call for the vote. All those in favor of the motion to approve the volleyball overnight field trip to Carlton State Park with the parents taking them and picking them up from the site, please show your right hand. Unanimous. Thank you, Ms. Williams.
Thank you.
Anything else from your report? Is that everything? Okay. Following Ms. Williams' report and that approval, we'll flip over our agenda to 9.03, our human resource update. Thank you, Ms. Hamilton.
Good evening, Board.
Good evening.
I don't have any updates. I did update your vacancies, but I'm here to answer any questions you have.
Are those updated vacancies in, what, is that in our approvals?
Did you give them the revised? What?
Oh, in executive session.
Oh, okay.
Thank you. Okay, gotcha.
Y'all good?
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Ms. Williams, before we move on, you can let me know, there were some questions about how many openings. Is that something you'll give us in executive session?
Yes,
when we're
I'll
under
give that to you in
topic,
executive session.
Hiring, separations, resignations? Okay.
Yes, I
Thank
will.
you. Thank you. Moving on to 9.04, finance update. Thank you, Mrs. Barrett.
Good evening, school board members
Good
and
evening.
audience. I don't have any updates for my report from last week, but I'll be glad to have any questions if you have any.
Board members, any questions? Okay. We'll move on to 9.05. We have before us the 2025-2026 school year budget, which you can find in the packet that was on our desk, board members. And tonight would be a final reading with a motion and action once we receive any information that Ms. Barrett would like to give us.
Yes, tonight marks the third and the final reading of the proposed budget for fiscal year 25 and 26. There's been no change since the second reading. The total projected revenue and expenditures remain balanced of $59,766,691. At this time, I'll be happy to address any question or provide any clarification regarding the proposed budget prior to the board's action.
Board members, you have before you the handout that has 4 pages. I'll entertain a motion in a second, and if there's any discussion or
Madam
questions.
Chair, I make a motion that we approve the project budget, capital project budget.
We're on the school year budget right this minute. Yeah, we'll get to that one in just a minute. So we're looking at the school year budget
Okay.
right this minute.
I make a motion that we approve the school budget.
The operating budget,
Operating budget.
okay. We have a motion?
Second.
There's a second. There's a motion and a second that we approve the third reading. We've had a first and a second. This is our third and final reading for June 24, 2025. Motion and a second. Any discussion?
I just want to clarify that in this year's General Fund 2026 budget, we do have a deficit of $3.5 million.
Yes, you do.
And that is going to come from our fund balance. I also just want to make note that in this year's budget, there is no calculation as of now for any county council school operating millage increase, and that is for consideration of our Colleton County Council to be determined.
Right.
Is that correct? So
That
there's
is
no
correct.
additional revenue
No
from our
additional revenue.
county for local revenue. Just making a point as well that 75% of salary increases to certified staff is mandated from our state and funded by our state, and 25% does come from local revenue. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Also, just want to make note, in this year's budget, are there any additional staff positions that have been added to the budget?
There's no additional staff position. Matter of fact, we have cut positions in this budget.
Thank you for that
Reduced.
clarification.
Not positions, but we reduced by attrition, through attrition.
Any other questions or discussion?
Madam Chair, I don't have a question. I do have a comment, though. Based on information that I have, over the last 5 years, Colleton County School District, we have lost 500 students in enrollment, and at the same time, over those last 5 years, our budget has increased by almost $17 million. So as board members, as you go to vote for this budget tonight, I just hope you'll keep those figures in mind, knowing that we have a charter school that's moving in that may reduce our enrollment even more.
Thank you, Mr. Irwin, for providing that information. And do you have a suggestion if we don't approve this budget?
Yeah, go back to the drawing board and let's reduce the budget.
Other board members?
Madam Chair, if I might, I'd like to also recommend to our legislators that before you mandate an increase in salaries, that you also provide and fully fund those mandates.
And having said that, she's referring to the $15,000 for certified, correct me, Ms. Barrett, if I'm wrong, $1,500 that we receive for certified, the state pays 25%, 75% of that, we pay 25 of
And last
the
year, we had a big
$1,500.
increase from the teachers. Last year, it was like 33,000 and something. Last year increased from the state, and we had to pay 25% of that. So every year, there's a mandate from the state to increase certified staff. So we have to require to do that, and we have to do it by state.
Yes, and it also includes the step increases that our certified receive and our classified have a 2% cost of living and their step,
And
correct?
this step, that is correct. And the prior year before that, we had an 18.1% increase in our health insurance that we had to cover. And so it's always increases that is mandated by the state that they don't necessarily give us the full funding to take care of.
I would also like to add that our district has not asked for local support since 2019. We are one of about just 20 districts in the state of South Carolina that does not have fiscal autonomy. We are significantly underfunded by our local government, and we have petitioned and asked for additional support, and I do wholeheartedly believe that they will provide us some support for this year, but there has been different analysis that have been done, and if we compare Colleton County with districts that surround us, we are significantly underfunded compared to other districts that surround Colleton. I know that enrollment is a concern, and we've looked at enrollment across the state, and there are other districts that are experiencing that enrollment decline, and it's because there are so many different options that parents have. They have virtual options, they have charter schools, Christian schools. There's so many options that our parents have. We do all that we can to, accentuate some of the things that we offer in our school district that are not offered at other places, and we just hope that parents, would choose Colleton County School District because there are great things that are happening in our district. But I just wanted to, just put it out there that, we are underfunded, and we are looking for our local government to assist us in some way.
And Superintendent Williams just stole my thunder. Ms. Whitcomb mentioned the state legislature. I would like to remind those local leaders who are listening that part of our responsibility is to take care of our children. If they fund us at the proper levels, then they won't be swayed by the shiny objects coming down the path. So if they fund our children properly, we will have all of the things that those other people are searching for.
Other board members? Hearing no further discussion, we have a motion and we have a second for the third reading. I know we've spent a lot of time, our staff has poured in a lot of time to try to produce a budget that will help guide next year's operating cost. So at this time, I will call for a show of hands for those in favor of the third reading as presented. All those opposed? Let the vote reflect 5-2. Moving on, we also have before us tonight, thank you board members for being in attendance last night, and those of you that have had time to review the capital project that was revised and given back to us last night. So tonight, there aren't future readings of the capital project. So Ms. Williams, at this time, if you will prepare us, since we just met last night and we have some revisions, board members, if you look in your packet, there are revisions from the meeting last night based on our discussions, and that was a public meeting if anyone wanted to attend. We have before us in the blue handout, board members, recommendations Ms. Williams will make.
Thank you, Chair Strobel, and I also wanted to thank board members for your participation last night in our work session. Thank you for your presence, and thank you for your feedback. We took that information and we have prioritized our list, and you have the list in your packet, and I'm asking you to endorse the RFPs because there's no amount there beside them, and I'm asking you to approve the items with amounts on the sheet that says recommended projects for 2025-2026 school year. So they are the HVAC assessments, and I know that it says each location there, but I just want to clarify that if we have a building that has a brand new HVAC system, that particular location would not need that assessment. But if we have a repair, or if we need a replacement, or if we have an emergency call, then that particular location would be included in that as well. And that goes for all, the HVAC, the fire and safety alarm systems, and the district-wide roofing systems as well. So I'm asking for your endorsement of the RFP RFPs, and I'm asking you to approve the time system district-wide, and it has the amount there of $35,000. The Navigate 360, $25,000. The athletic helmets, shoulder pads, $24,041. And then the copiers. And remember that this is done in phases, but that is at a cost of $400,000. If you look at the next page, that says projects pursuing for further information. We are not asking for your approval, but we are doing the groundwork, so we will have this information ready for you. These particular items were not deemed as priority after our discussion last night, so I'm not really asking for your approval of those, but I just want you to know that we are still laying the groundwork for those projects as well.
So, board members, before you and hearing Ms. Williams' report, we will be endorsing the RFPs. There's not an amount there to approve. So to clarify the discussions from last night, we would be endorsing the district to move forward with gathering the prices. But as she clarified, we would not need to pay for assessments for any of the new items in the HVAC or fire and security or roofing. So please notice the approval would be for endorsement of 6 of the RFPs, and we would be approving the 4 line items that have specific cost. So having heard that, I'll entertain a motion that we make a motion that we accept the recommendation for the capital projects as presented.
Madam Chair, I make a motion that we approve the capital project that Superintendent Williams came before us with.
Second.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second, and as I stated, the RFPs, we're endorsing them to move forward, excluding the new projects that would need assessment, and we're approving the line items that have a purchase price. Hearing a motion and a second, any further discussion?
Madam Chair, if I may, just in the identification of the RFP process, understanding, of course, that we will receive those proposals, and that information will be communicated clearly to the board prior to the commitment to any projects moving forward. Yes. And also, an understanding in the last night's budget work session from Finance that bond money is released in September, and so we'll have a more firm number then, and I just want to make sure that there's clear communication and transparency on the identification of those funds prior to us moving forward.
Madam Chair, to be clear, this board is about to take a vote to endorse RFPs for capital projects when we were told last night in the meeting that the RFPs haven't even gone out yet. So just to be clear what this board is about to vote on.
The RFP has gone out for the HVAC already, but it has not gone out for fire and security alarm and the district-wide roofing systems.
Any further discussion or clarification needed? All those in favor of the motion that we endorse the 6 RFPs that are here, excluding any new projects that would not need assessments, and the items that have specific prices, show by your right hand. All those opposed? Let it reflect the vote carried 5-2. Before we move on, I just wanted to make a note, Ms. Williams, I didn't echo, the operating budget is something that county assists us with, and I want to thank Ms. Williams and the board and the county council members that have been working to support us as best they can. Their meeting is tomorrow night at 5:30. So we anticipate, as Ms. Williams said, some support on some of the new things that were recommended that we were not able to include in this operating budget. So we'll look forward to hearing about that after the county council meets tomorrow evening at 5:30. Moving on, our agenda. Our academics and student affairs, of course, our core purpose is teaching and learning. So we look forward to any updates from our assistant superintendent for, interim superintendent for curriculum, Dr. Cordia Jenkins.
Madam Chair, there are no updates from curriculum instruction, but I'll be happy to answer any questions that you have from her report.
Any date, what are the dates on summer school? I know things look really good. When I visited the middle school last week, things were going well.
Yeah, so summer school ends this coming Thursday, will be the last day of summer school. And curriculum and instruction will do a presentation for you concerning summer school at our July meeting.
Thank you, Ms. Williams. Any other update, Ms. Williams, under academic 10.02 state technical support? Any update on that?
No, there are no updates, but our liaison, Ms. Smalls, has still supported us tremendously in our district. I know she met with all of the principals, she and Dr. Jenkins, to go over the progress of their turnaround plans. So she has been very instrumental in providing that support.
Any other questions under academics and student affairs?
Madam Chair, I just have a question for clarification. Maybe I've missed it somewhere, but I do not see it loaded in board docs, nor do I see it in the email that was sent with our attachments. We were asked if we had any questions on the report that was given. Do we have that report somewhere?
We had a report last week.
Yeah, it's the report that we send before the committee of the whole meeting.
So there were no updates at all?
No, there were no updates from that report.
No, you didn't miss any update. She had a report we got with our Thursday committee of the whole agenda before the meeting, and she handed us the documents for professional development at the bench. So those were given to us hard copy. Any other questions or comments? Moving on to item number 11. Operational management. As we all know, one of our core values, a safe, secure, and positive environment will be conducive for teaching and learning. So we look forward to any updates that Dr. Martin Wright has for us. Welcome.
Good evening, Madam Chair, members of the board, Superintendent Williams. We have no new updates coming from the Office of Operational Management other than what we presented last Tuesday.
Dr. Wright, can you update us? I know projects were supposed to get started in the report, so what projects were able to get started based on, the weather and other things?
Yes, ma'am. Both of the two major projects, which involves our roofing for Carlton County High School, as well as our pavement for Carlton County Middle School, are in progress as we speak.
The roofing and the paving, yes. Okay. And the roughing project, I know that was already underway, but we had a lot of wet weather.
Just as last week, Madam Chair, that project is near completion. We're just working on getting some weather dried, some sand and saturation dried up, so that the contractor can come and level off some of the areas around the track area, and lay some seeding to help some of that grass to regrow.
Thank you. And will DHEC actually give us a report, or how will that be finalized?
That'll be finalized through the company collaborating with DHEC, and we'll get authorization through DHEC through the company. They'll be facilitating that work for us.
Authorization through the company or through DHEC?
DHEC will be given the authorization, but the company will be facilitating that process.
Okay. Attorney Hannah, if you could just clarify so we can know what to expect in July, because I know that's an August deadline. Ms. Hannah, are you with us?
Yeah, I'm sorry. I was trying to take myself off mute. The project needs to be done. The staff on the ground it's now not called DHEC, because DHEC split into two groups, but they are the ones who will be involved, and they will come in and confirm that the work has been done properly. And then once that happens, their attorneys will be in touch with us to finalize any documents that need to be signed. But as long as the work is being done and the state staff is on the ground, they're the ones who are going to have to finalize that. Then we'll finalize the documents at the end.
Thank you. And for those of you who don't know, that's been a project that was ongoing longer than most of us were on the board. Mr. Murdoch, you were probably here when it was begun. So we're happy to see the sunset of this project. So thank you, Dr. Wright and Ms. Hannah, letting us know we're on track, and the other staff that have helped with that process. Any other
Madam Chair.
comments?
Yes.
May I? Yes.
Dr. Wright, I was over to the middle school visiting last week, and I saw they're working on the cooling system. Can you update us with what's going on with that?
We have ongoing maintenance with the cooling towers over at the Collins County Middle School to prevent any delay in maintenance, so that when that system is continuing going, we won't have no problems with cooling for the spring and summer months. So what you're seeing is continuous ongoing maintenance with our cooling towers to prevent those issues we've dealt with in the past.
Okay. And also, there's a fence been raggy, tore up for a while over there as you go coming in, the black fence, link fence.
Yes, sir.
Is there anything that we're going to do to that?
That fence that was just brought to my attention as of last week was not on our radar, but that fence is currently on our radar for repairs.
Are you referring to the fence at Colleton County Middle School? Mm-hmm. That fence has been repaired.
Not as
of, we may be talking about a different location.
We're talking a different one then.
You said there's one
There were
about
some temporary repairs, yes, before
Okay.
the program.
Yes.
Yeah. But I'm not sure it would be permanent. We'd have to look into that. And of course,
But if you don't mind,
yeah,
Your questions about permanent fix,
Yeah.
board member, I don't think we have a permanent fix, it's temporary.
Yes.
Just get something going, but we're looking at, through our office, having a permanent fix for
because it's an eyesore when you're coming in,
Yes,
you can
sir.
see it.
Yeah,
Yes, sir,
but
Ms.
it's
Tenney.
going to look so much better over there with new pavement.
Right.
You'll be proud once the new pavement gets into place. And
yes. Any other concerns or compliments for Building and Ground? Thank you, Dr. Wright. Board members, we'll move on. We're all here, so we don't need any consideration for attending electronically. And as we approach the end of our agenda, we appreciate all of you that were here. And at this time, I'll entertain a motion that we enter into executive session because we have a few items we need to discuss, such as employment matters, student release and admittance, discussion and legal advice for property and contractual matters, and discussion and legal advice of our policy GBEC, drug and alcohol testing in our free workplace and schools, as well as the policy GBECE, our employee action and drug testing. So those are the things we'll discuss. Is there a motion that we move into executive session?
Madam Chair, I move we go into executive session to discuss item numbers 13.01, 13.02, 13.03, and 13.04.
Thank you.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Any discussion about the business we will conduct in executive session? If we need to take any action, of course, we would come out to do that. Hearing none, all those in favor of us moving into executive session for the topics that are identified, please show your right hand. Unanimous. We will enter into executive session. Upon returning, we'll take any action necessary. Thank you for being here. You tell me, green light? Okay. Board members, I'll entertain a motion that we enter back into regular session, open session.
Madam Chair, I make a motion that we enter back into open session.
Second.
We have a motion and a second that we enter back into open session. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please show your right hand. Thank you. Board members, after discussion of the items that are on our agenda, we need to entertain some action, so I'll entertain a motion about our discussion of employment matters.
Madam Chair, I move that we accept the recommendations for professional staff employment numbers 1 through 6.
Second.
We have a motion and a second that we accept the recommendations, items 1 through 6. Any discussion?
Yes, Madam Chair, I would like to say that a statement was made earlier that there were no new hires in the budget. However, we do have a school that has more than the 20-to-1 ratio that has been established here, and we are adding a second grade teacher at Forest Hills Elementary School. So I do apologize for the information shared earlier. However, this district I know values our teaching force, and we want to ensure that we are adequately staffed for the new school year.
Thank you, Ms. Williams. Any other discussion about the motion and the second to accept the recommendations of items 1 through 6?
Madam Chair, if I may, just because I was the one that clearly identified that is the intent of the board as it related to the approval of our 2005-2006 general fund budget. I just want to make clear our appreciation that our core purpose is teaching and learning, and the understanding that when no new positions were hired, there were no new administrative positions hired in this year's budget, and in accordance to the enrollment fluctuation of grade by grade. That's why obviously this is a good decision for our district.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor of the stated motion that we accept the employment recommendations, items 1 through 6, raise your right hand, please. Unanimous. Thank you. And now we move to our second item that needs our attention, board members. There was information given to us about student releases and student admittance.
Madam Chair, I'd like to make a motion that the board approve the student admittances as requested, as well as the release items number 1, 3 through 12.
Second.
We have a motion and a second that we accept. Say that one more time.
Sure. The student admittances as identified, as well as the release items numbers 1, 3 through 12.
Thank you. So we have a motion that we accept those that were asked for admittance to our district, and that we release items 1 and 3 through 12. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor of the admittance of the students that were listed and the release of student 1, student 3 through 12, please show by your right hand. Unanimous. Is there any other information that needs to come before the board tonight? Hearing none, please be reminded that our county council meeting is tomorrow night at 5:30 for those that are able to attend. We anticipate some good news for our school budget, as well as other things that affect all of us in our county. And we also want to be reminded that our July meeting will be condensed to one meeting, so unless necessary for action, we will not meet again until July 15th at the recorded time of 6 p.m. Hearing no other information, I'll entertain a motion that we adjourn.
Madam Chair, make a motion that we adjourn.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor of adjourning, please show your right hand. Have a good night and happy 4th of July.